Hey, hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? My name is Jacob, and I'm a UX UI designer based in San Francisco, California. And if you're anything like me, you got into this industry by way of bootcamp. And I wanted to make this video to share with people just getting out of bootcamp or just entering to get the tools that they need to advance in their career afterwards. You know, there's a lot of things that bootcamps don't teach you, and I had to learn the hard way. And the hopes of this is so that people coming up can watch this and at least be aware of things that they need to learn or the questions they need to ask to be better prepared when they actually enter the field. Number one, so the first thing I think boot camps really neglect is they don't teach you how to actually talk to developers. And developer-designer relationship is extremely important because they're the ones inherently building the product that you design. I think this is something that there needs to be a stronger emphasis on because fostering that positive relationship with your development team is going to make you a stronger designer, because a lot of the times developers will have questions about little tiny things that you don't actually think about as a designer. Sometimes when you're creating your app map or your site map, you know, you like to think that, oh, I have the UX down, I have every pathway down, and I've created everything for it. But sometimes there's little things like loading screens that you might forget, or how is the text animate? How is this photo supposed to appear? How does the interaction animation actually work? Things like that. You know, at first it seems like an afterthought, but it's really important to understand all of these little intricacies when it comes to designing something, especially a product for people. So I think one thing that, you know, boot camps should do a little bit better is maybe actually have interviews with actual practicing developers and engineers. I think it's pretty essential for you as a student and as an upcomer to have active and open communication with developers. And I think this is something that a lot of boot camps neglect, at least in my experience. Number two, so the next most important thing that I think a lot of boot camps don't actually prepare you for is how to use other tools that designers are actively using. A lot of this can be something as simple as like using another design program like Sketch or XD. Another big important one is probably InVision or Miro. You know, I think the names kind of get thrown around, but I think if these companies spent like just a day highlighting each of these individual tools and what they actually do, will better prepare you to be more well-versed. I've noticed, and when applying to jobs, you know, you'll see the requirements of things that you should be either familiar with or their preferred experience with this particular product. A lot of the times it's stuff that I had never heard of. Like going through the boot camp, I only used Figma, and that was what they encouraged because it is the industry standard by some regards, but there's also a lot of other tools to explore. And I don't think it's the boot camp's job to teach you every single one, but I do think they should do a better job of at least introducing you and spending a single day's topic on understanding how each of them work. Number three. So the third most important thing, number three. So the next thing that I actually think is really important that most boot camps don't spend enough time on is teaching you how to interview confidently. You know, I've sat through so many interviews and I've been a part of so many, and I've for sure like tanked some, and I've also done really great in others. But one of the most common questions that I ask at the end of an interview is I ask people, what are they looking for in an interview? And a lot of the times the feedback is that designers will purposely pitch you questions that will make you uncomfortable or ask you things that they genuinely think you don't know. And it's to test you, you know, and a lot of the times like people fail that test. It really comes down to like these boot camps should probably spend more time doing mock interviews with people so you can regularly build that confidence. next thing, number 3. All right, number 3. So the next thing is probably something that I think is arguably most important. A lot of these boot camps don't actually spend enough time preparing you for mock interviews. It's very easy to Number 3. So the third most important thing. Yeah. All right, number 3. So the next most important thing that I think a lot of boot camps don't spend enough time on is actively teaching you how to interview confidently. I've been and sat through so many interviews at this current point that, I've built up a repertoire and I've built up this comfortability. When I go into them, I know exactly what they're going to ask me, and I know to be ready for these these sidewinders they kind of throw at you and things to just get you off your game. And at the end of every interview, I always ask every designer, what do you look for in interviews? And a lot of the times it's people want to know how you can handle uncomfortability. And the way they do that is by asking you questions that they think you might not know, or bring up topics that you might not be aware of. And the thing that boot camps kind of neglect is that mine, for example, was Thinkful. We did, I think, maybe 1 mock interview in the entire time that I was there. I genuinely think that boot camps should better prepare you before they send you off and give you more real world interviews. Maybe not real world. I think that they should give you more interview prep. I think that these companies should spend more time preparing you to actually get the job and focus on building your interview skills to prepare you for all the curveballs that you might get in the actual world. And so that's the end of the video. I wanted it to be really short and sweet, and I want to really extend my hand to help anybody who is either emerging from the bootcamp scene or going into it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach me. Feel free to email me at hello@jacobrmro.com, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. The most important thing for me at this point is I want to be able to help the other bootcamp students who are entering this new industry. It can be pretty scary and it can be tough, and I want to do my part to make sure that I'm helping the next generation as well. So, thank you very much, and thanks for watching.